but reducing inflation isn't necessarily one of them. We start here.
It's about tomorrow. It's about delivering progress and prosperity to American families.
President Biden signs one of his most ambitious agenda items into law.
But that immediate relief that they keep touting just isn't going to be there.
What's it about to mean for you? We'll walk you through how your wallet will be impacted. Falling water levels could sink these states.
The system is approaching a tipping point.
With Colorado River levels dropping, officials say it's time to use less water or else. And it's become a rallying cry among Trump loyalists.
The anger and rage and was there, and now it's gone to DEFCON 5.
But what would happen if you actually defunded the FBI? From ABC News, this is Start Here. I'm Brad Milkey. President Biden ran on an expansive list of ideas, but deep down you could tell that a couple of items mattered to him more than others. One of them was infrastructure, a once-in-a-lifetime investment in roads and bridges and stuff Americans need to make their lives easier. He and Congress got that done last year. But the other part of his agenda was perhaps even more ambitious because unlike infrastructure, he knew this would not have bipartisan backing. A series of economic measures, healthcare measures, and green energy initiatives that in his mind would help reshape the U.S. economy.
The bill I'm about to sign is not just about today, it's about tomorrow. It's about delivering progress and prosperity to American families.
It's taken lots of twists and turns. Several provisions like free college and paid family leave were cut, but yesterday, President Biden signed that new bill into law.
Today offers further proof that the soul of America is vibrant. The future of America is bright.
And in an uncertain economic moment, this bill had a reassuring name, the Inflation Reduction Act. But some economists have asked whether this will in fact live up to its name. So let's start the day with a basic question. How is this new law about to impact you? ABC's Alexis Christoforous covers business and economics. Alexis, first question, will the Inflation Reduction Act reduce inflation? Sounds like a straightforward thing.
It is, and one would think it would, given the name. But despite this new legislation's name, a lot of folks say the Inflation Reduction Act is really a misnomer because Americans won't be seeing relief from high inflation anytime soon. If you thought this was going to mean a lower grocery bill or lower prices at the gas pump, it won't happen certainly anytime soon. I know President Biden has been touting this as, bringing Americans immediate relief. I think the best Americans can hope for is relief, perhaps months, but really more like years down the road.
And why do they call it that then? What's the rationale for saying this reduces any sort of inflation?
I think the rationale is it's all about politics, and you have people heading to the polls in just a few short weeks for the midterm elections. Calling something the Inflation Reduction Act, I think is the Democrats trying to be hopeful and thinking, wow, that'll be top of mind for voters when they go. They're going to think we really reduced inflation. But when you dig down deep into this legislation, there are some good things there, and it will mean lower costs for folks over many years. But that immediate relief that they keep touting just isn't going to be there.
Everything we're doing is reducing the cost that individuals are burdened with. And how they say that's not going to help inflation, I have no idea.
For instance, over the course of a decade, this should reduce the federal deficit by $300 billion. That's good news for the overall economy. It's also going to reduce prices for American households when it comes to health care and energy costs. Most of that, though, won't be seen for at least a few years. And I'll give you a few examples. So on the healthcare front, it will allow Medicare to negotiate drug prices for the first time ever. So Medicare recipients are going to see prices on a number of drugs be reduced, but that won't really kick in until at least 2025. Out-of-pocket costs for Medicare recipients will be capped at $2,000. Insulin costs for people with diabetes maxed out at $35 a month. That's still going to be a couple years away. More immediate, pharmaceutical companies will have to pay rebates. That's starting next year if they raise medication prices faster than inflation.
These important steps will help ensure that all seniors have access to life and health-saving medications, regardless of how much money they have.
Another way that Americans are going to start feeling the effects of this almost immediately is in their energy costs. So it includes $80 billion in rebates to help households pay for green energy upgrades. So this includes a 30% credit for installing solar panels, for instance, credits for installing efficient heating pumps.
It gives consumers a tax credit to buy electric vehicles or fuel cell vehicles, new or used. And it gives them a tax credit of up to $7,500. if those vehicles were made in America.
It's important to read the fine print on all of that. It sounds great, but the fact is a lot of the EV cars on the market right now are ineligible for these tax rebates. And that's because in the fine print, they talk about, that the car cannot have any parts made in China, for instance. They really want you to be buying American. So if you're buying an EV car and even one bit of that car is coming from China, well, it is disqualified from the rebate. So those are the little things that I think are going to work their way through as this legislation actually goes from being, something we keep talking about to something that we actually are practicing.
Well, and so lastly, part of Joe Manchin's hesitation for being on this bill and then his stated reason for joining it now was he was saying, I don't want to raise taxes on regular people. Where does this leave us as far as what the average American is about to have to deal with economically?
Right. So I don't think the average American needs to worry about this legislation, causing them to pay more in taxes. This is supposed to just raise taxes on large U.S. corporations. They're raising the 15% corporate minimum tax for those companies and also for individuals making more than $400,000 a year. It may actually help Americans when it comes to getting their tax refund faster. And that's because this legislation includes $80 billion for the Internal Revenue Service to beef up the agency. So, you may call the IRS and wonder when you're going to get a call back. Maybe now someone will actually pick up the phone. Maybe they'll be able to get those tax refunds out quicker.
Do you really trust this administration, the IRS, to be fair? To not abuse their power?
Critics, of course, say, well, this also means now you have more people able to do audits. So are we going to have a rise in the number of audits and intrusive audits? And that's really yet to be seen. But critics are saying that this rise in the corporate minimum tax starts to hurt companies, especially when the economy is starting to cool down.
You cannot spend your way out of inflation or tax yourself out of recession or borrow your way out of debt. Yet that's exactly what the Democrats claim they can do.
They say if they have to pay more in taxes, they may pull back in other areas, like not give out raises or not be as generous. Maybe they need to lay off workers or not bring as many workers on. So they're saying, regular Americans may feel it in other more non-direct ways when you start raising taxes on corporations.
Yeah, and this bill passed basically on a party line vote. So each party waiting to see how this will affect Americans' votes come November. Alexis Christoforous, thanks a lot.
You bet.
Next up on Start Here, perhaps the biggest win in this bill was for climate activists, but there's a dire warning taking place right now. It's a Mad Max landscape after the break.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any place else. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast, now streaming on ABC News Live.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers.
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
Here at the White House.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
Here along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go. We made it.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Admit it. These days, what you need to know
seems to change just about every day.
What is it that you really want to know, need to know?
To help you not just get through your day,
but to make the most of it. Feel smarter.
Feel better.
Feel happier.
Well, how about a third hour of Good Morning America?
GMA 3, what you need to know. Now streaming on ABC News Live.
It's all about you.
Elizabeth Holmes found guilty on 4 counts of fraud, facing the possibility of decades in prison. Now, we take you inside the courtroom and behind the scenes. The Dropout, Elizabeth Holmes on Trial. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
National parks are incredibly safe places, but crime will happen.
My wife has fallen. She's in really critical condition.
At that time, I thought it was just a tragic accident.
There's still a lot of questions we need to ask.
There were small things that didn't totally add up.
This is 2 lives for Harold that have died now. I was shocked. Something's not right.
What if I told you there's a con that ensnared some of the world's biggest movie stars and involved international money laundering, bribery, and billions of dollars? Would you believe me? Well, honey, strap in.
This is one of the biggest financial frauds of all time.
Spending absurd amounts of money, partying with the who's who of Hollywood. Could he get away with this?
This is The Con.
All new Thursday night on ABC.
This is ABC News Live Prime.
Hey there, I'm Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us.
Live reporting, breaking news, exclusives, award-winning, powerful, eye-opening.
How lucky are we?
ABC News Live Prime with Lindsay Davis. All new, streaming weeknights. ABC News, America's #1 news source.
So you heard Alexis touch briefly on the big spending on green energy in this new bill, and environmentalists say this really could not come soon enough because yesterday, right before Biden signed this bill, the Department of the Interior came out with a dire warning about droughts in the West and an unprecedented restriction for water usage. ABC's Stephanie Ebbs is with our climate unit. Stephanie, can you just explain this announcement? Because it sounded scary.
Yeah, Brad. So this announcement came from the Bureau of Reclamation. It's probably a lesser known part of the federal government that manages water out west, specifically in these areas where there are a lot of different states vying for the same body of water, specifically the Colorado River.
The Colorado River's flows have declined by 20% over the past 20 years, and the nation's top scientists expect them to decline by about 20% more in the coming years.
So this is their kind of yearly check-in on the status of the river. Last year, this announcement declared the first ever water shortage, and now they're basically saying that situation hasn't gotten any better.
The system is approaching a tipping point, and without action, we cannot protect the system and the millions of Americans who rely on this critical resource.
This announcement also marked the end of a deadline that the Bureau of Reclamation gave to states that use Colorado River water, basically saying, you better come up with an emergency plan as quickly as possible, because if not, we're going to step in as the federal government and make those cuts for you.
Yeah, and they describe this, as you just heard, like a tipping point because water levels are literally getting beyond a certain level. How bad has it gotten? Like, what does that look like up close?
You may have seen stories about the dramatic images coming out of the Colorado River.
Human remains have been found at Nevada's Lake Mead. This is the reservoir formed by the Hoover Dam about 25 miles east of Vegas.
The low water levels at Lake Powell and Lake Mead revealing boats, even dead bodies, things that have been submerged for decades.
This is ground zero for climate change impacts on water in the United States, right here in the Colorado River Basin.
That's only the beginning of the impacts that we're starting to see. We see impacts to ecosystems where salmon and other populations that rely on this water are unable to survive because as the water levels go down, they're too warm for those species. You know, when it comes to human populations, you have cities that rely on this body of water for drinking water. Obviously, that's a very critical concern if those drinking water supplies are threatened, and you see cities and states already looking for alternatives. There are dams along this river that generate electricity, hydroelectric dams that if water levels get too low, they can't operate. So you have the threat of energy shortages. And then I think another really important thing to point out is agriculture. This is a part of our country that produces a lot of our food. There's a lot of farming, there's a lot of ranching, and a large majority of that relies on water that they are given from the Colorado River.
Can I see farming going away? Yeah, unfortunately. In this part of the world, eventually at some point.
Due to kind of the hierarchy of needs that the states and federal government have worked out, a lot of those agricultural producers are the first to lose their water allocations as these cuts go forward.
Well, yeah, as you're going like further and further downstream, there might be less and less to work with. But what do you do then, Stephanie? Like, how does an entire state reduce its water usage? Because I can't imagine like shorter showers is going to do the trick here.
Right, not quite. So this is something that You know, you've seen things like the state of California calling for people to make cuts in their personal water usage, right? And that's not an insignificant thing. Changes your shower, stop watering your lawn, things like that we see. It's all a step in the right direction, but it's a lot harder once you get down to those less obvious cuts.
So we're faced with this new reality where we have to learn to live with less water.
There's different technologies that can be used, different sources of water. You see states, exploring groundwater as a place to get their drinking water as an alternative. There's also ways that farmers can reduce their water use, different technologies, different crops you can plant. There's a lot of different ways. They're saying they want it to be a collaborative process, because no matter who decides to make those cuts, the states or the federal government, it's gonna hurt the people that are losing that water. So they're hoping that those decisions can be made voluntarily and not by force.
Like, it's all abstract until the government, like state or national, comes in and tells a community or an individual farmer, hey, you don't get water in this place anymore. That is when things get really, really uncomfortable. Stephanie Ebbs, Tracking the Climate. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Brad.
Yesterday, we told you the Justice Department was so concerned about classified documents that were being kept at former President Trump's estate that they hadn't just conducted a raid. There is currently a full-fledged investigation into this. A grand jury's been convened, witnesses have been interviewed, and now, as of this morning, we actually know who some of those witnesses are.
ABC News has learned that the FBI has interviewed former Trump White House counsel Pat Cipollone and his former deputy about those documents stored at Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence.
And with every new revelation, you hear more and more anger from President Trump and his most diehard supporters about the FBI itself. I'm not just talking about accusations of being subject to undue scrutiny. I'm talking about people calling for the FBI to be disbanded or defunded.
What the FBI just did was totally unacceptable.
Biden administration, the Democrats are weaponizing the FBI, and it has to stop.
The idea of abolishing the Bureau is being suggested not just by violent extremists, but by some conservative lawmakers. So we wanted to ask the question, what would happen if the FBI were actually defunded? Let's go to Brad Garrett. He's a former special agent with the FBI. He's now an ABC News contributor. And Brad, first of all, what has been your reaction to this anger toward the Bureau in recent days?
Well, I saw it coming, to be quite honest, and here's the reason why, is that you had a president, even before he was president in 2015, starting to basically create an image that the government was too powerful and it was corrupt. And so he delegitimized the FBI in particular, but other agencies that he didn't like.
We have a lot of sickness in some of our institutions, and we're working very hard. We've got a lot of them straightened out, but we really do. We have a rigged system in this country, and we have to change it.
And because he developed this following, they just sort of fell in line behind him.
Thank you.
And so what you're having now, in addition to being angry at the FBI for a sundry of mostly unrealistic things, is that you have this drive of they shouldn't be doing anything that they're doing in regard to overstepping into President Trump's world.
And I think government today has gotten way too big, way too powerful, and they see the people uprising all across the country to take our rights and freedoms back.
And so the anger and rage was there, and now it's gone to DEFCON 5.
And then, as far as this idea that's being tossed around, like defund the FBI or abolish the FBI, just so I'm clear, like what would happen? Like, can you just explain to me, a layman, like what that would even mean?
So let's start with a larger term and go smaller. I mean, the FBI are the lead agency in the United States. So the principal law enforcement agency for the United States. You start with that. They're the lead in counterterrorism, counterintelligence, criminal organizations. They work over 200 violations. So you could argue, could some of that go to somebody else? Sure. But you're talking about somebody that has a history of 100 years in putting together what they currently have.
This is a Bureau of Scientific Crime Detection. New, modern, up to the minute, in action day and night. The FBI never sleeps.
And dismantling it and say, as of tomorrow, there's no FBI, the country would be so much less safe.
Every day, they protect the American people from violent crime, terrorism, and other threats to their safety while safeguarding our civil rights.
I mean, basically, the FBI is the conduit between NSA, the CIA, and any other intelligence agency you want, and to the local police or anybody else that is in a non-classified setting that are absolutely critical to keep this country safe every day, because there would be so much information that wouldn't get passed between the intelligence community and the law enforcement community because they aren't the same. So let's say that the CIA develops that somebody's about to drop a dirty bomb on a building in New York City. Let's say the United Nations. And so they would have probably gotten that information through highly classified sources and methods that they couldn't really walk in. And they aren't the ones who have the relationship with the NYPD, if that's the case. It's the FBI. So the FBI is able to take that information in a timely fashion, filter it. So you're not really...
Just so I'm clear, what would be the problem with giving raw intelligence to the local PD if they were going to be the ones making the arrests anyway?
Okay, so any information that gets passed goes into the public forum. If you're Russia, if you're Iran, and they use super secret satellites, sources, you're talking about getting people killed and destroying a way of collection that they can't use anymore. That's the important thing. I can tell you, without getting specific, there are cases that come into DOJ every week that are really important cases, but they can't prosecute anybody because all of the stuff that was collected was so secret and so specialized that they just have to let it go.
Well, like the downside of all the damage that could be done, that outweighs the pros of prosecuting.
Exactly. And so, but by and large, that can be worked out, and that's one of the big things the Bureau does.
Okay, and then when you zoom out a little bit, I'm thinking, because traditionally there had been an audience for let's get rid of the FBI, let's defund the FBI or curtail its influence, right? But the people who were saying that for decades were people from the American left wing, right? Like I'm thinking about the aftermath of the Martin Luther King assassination, the Patriot Act a couple decades ago. Now we're seeing more of these calls from Republicans, from conservatives. In your mind, is that kind of just a cycle where whichever party feels like they don't have as much power at the moment, that's who's upset with the federal government? Or is there an overall growing loss of trust that could endanger the FBI as an entity?
Well, I think obviously there was a lack of trust back in the day when you're talking about Martin Luther King.
They resolved to destroy Martin Luther King. And they set out to do that in lots of ways. They persuaded the Kennedy brothers to agree to wiretapping of King and King's close associates.
And during that period of time where the Bureau was doing iffy, if not sometimes illegal wiretaps, so forth and so on, so they really got a bad reputation. But the point being, you had that. And then we sort of went through a period of time where I suppose the FBI was sort of in the middle or neutral. Mm-hmm. But in recent years, you have this constant drumbeat that the Bureau is intruding into the local home, into the local community, that the city, county, state people should make these decisions, of which sometimes, that's just not the right place for it to be. Law enforcement and the intelligence community, but in particular law enforcement, is driven by immediate information. That's how we stop people. If you take, and I'm not saying that the Bureau is perfect, of course it's not, but they are the conduit between a lot of this stuff. And if you don't have them, you're going to miss things. And boy, in my view, maybe I'm biased, we would be in huge trouble if you got rid of the FBI.
Just a really interesting moment here. All right, that is Brad Garrett, formerly of the FBI, now an ABC News contributor. Thanks a lot.
Oh, you're welcome.
And one last thing. One of my favorite parts of reality shows is when someone has a very serious conversation at a restaurant.
No, it's just rude. And it's rude to me and it's rude. And this is like exactly Ramona, I didn't do anything to you.
Because often, before people start arguing about who is invited to whose party, they still have to order.
We get the crab cakes. Let's also get Caesar salad. And maybe also the goat cheese ravioli.
And the reason this is a thing on camera is it's a trade-off with the restaurant. We'll give your TV show a place to film if you will show off our establishment, maybe talk about how nice the menu is. Well, what happens when the restaurant isn't in on the deal? In the last few days, a video has gone viral in Spain. This is a YouTuber named Borja Escalona. Borja goes from city to city, and here he's trying the local cuisine, a little empanadilla.
Muy rico.
He declares it's good, thanks the server, and gets ready to leave, until she tells him, your meal is €2.30. And this look of disbelief comes over him. He tells her, we have a problem, because he eats only free things, he says. When the server insists, he lays it out like a math problem for a child. He says, I'm promoting your restaurant, you give me free food, and if you don't like it, no problem. I can send your boss an invoice for €2,500 worth of publicity. After scaring the server, who's now worried she's in trouble with her boss, he smirks, pays up, and leaves. While this might not be the typical influencer, it does point to how the influencer economy works. Creators get free stuff and then talk it up on their channels. As megastars have inked big deals, smaller fish go for smaller and smaller paydays. At the time, this guy had 35,000 subscribers on YouTube. But almost immediately after this encounter, this restaurant started getting horrible reviews. Users reported finding hair in their food. Well, the restaurant went on an aggressive counter-marketing push, and now local customers are flooding Google with their own reviews. The empanadilla shop has sympathy from the entire country at this point, and Borja Escalona's YouTube page has been taken down. Apparently he had been banned before, and then once this went viral, YouTube reportedly banned this channel because it was violating their terms of him getting back on the site. Escalona, for his part, by the way, posted this tearful apology saying he does not deserve the hate he's been receiving since this video emerged. Which reminds me, for every nice review of this show, you know there's someone being like, I heard Brad inhale really loudly once, 1 star, hate that show. So please leave us a rating and review, if nothing else, than to balance out all the bad ones. Like, it's a jungle out there. I'm Brad Milkey. See you tomorrow.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
How cute.
Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 12 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
These days, with so much going on, it's hard to keep up.
While others are recapping yesterday's headlines,
we're bringing you the right now.
This is the busy border crossing, steel barricades, another strike.
The right now look at the day ahead, how it affects you and your family.
Record high gas prices.
The threat of cyber warfare.
Is peace possible?
World News Now beginning at 2 a.m. Eastern, followed by America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
Streaming here on ABC News Live.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
in Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
Here at the White House.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
Here along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go. We made it.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Take America's #1 news with you anywhere you go, anytime, free. Download the ABC News app now. Breaking news, exclusives, 24/7. There for you with one touch. The ABC News app. Download it now.
The most powerful stories of our time, anytime. Nightline.
America is being poisoned with fentanyl, and we don't even know it.
Just heard my wife screaming. She told me they had just died.
50 to 100 times more potent than morphine.
Keep breathing, come on.
It's poison. It's pure poison.
A few grains of salt worth of fentanyl will kill you.
Just my agency has seized enough to kill the entire country.
ABC News Live presents Poisoned, America's Fentanyl Crisis. The powerful series, streaming free on ABC News Live.
So what's good to read this summer? Well, Kate and I have decided to jump in and help you.
And we're talking with Oprah, John Irving, and so many popular authors and influencers.
So we want you to join us. Myself, Charlie Gibson, and my daughter, Kate Gibson.
Oh, hey, that's me.
That is you. For the new podcast series, it is called The Bookcase with Kate and Charlie.
We will make sure you love what you read.
Listen anywhere and anytime. The Bookcase Podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
Right now on America This Morning, Liz Cheney ousted, the third highest ranking Republican in the House, losing her primary to a Trump-backed candidate. Overnight, Trump saying Cheney can finally disappear as she gives a defiant concession speech.
The battle over the affidavit leading to the search at Mar-a-Lago. A judge now expected to make a decision on whether to unseal the document, laying out why FBI agents searched Trump's Florida residence.
Water emergency. The Colorado River now at a tipping point. The unprecedented water restrictions coming to some Southwest states.
Plus, an Apple AirTag helps authorities track down a suspected luggage looter. Wait until you hear the haul.
A major airline announces the return of supersonic jets when they're expected to take flight.
And a dad encounters an alligator while taking his kids to school. How his martial arts training helped him save the day. It's Wednesday, August 17th. From ABC News in New York, this is America This Morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mona Kosar-Abdi.
Happy Wednesday. I'm Rhiannon Alley. Andrew is off. We want to begin this morning with breaking news. Voters in Wyoming have rejected Congresswoman Liz Cheney. The daughter of the former vice president lost her primary to Trump-backed candidate Harriet Hageman.
Hageman has echoed Trump's false claims of widespread voter fraud in the presidential election. Cheney is one of Trump's fiercest Republican critics, sitting on the committee investigating the January 6th attack. Last night, she made it clear she is not going away quietly. Overnight, a major political victory for former President Donald Trump after Representative Liz Cheney lost the Republican primary for Wyoming's sole congressional seat.
Harriet Hageman has received the most votes in this primary. She won. I called her to concede the race.
One of the few Republicans to go against the former president, and perhaps the most prominent. Cheney's loss was expected. Trump endorsed her opponent, Harriet Hageman, and overnight wasted no time taking a victory lap. In a statement posted on social media, he wrote, quote, "Congratulations to Harriet Hageman on her great and very decisive win in Wyoming. Liz Cheney should be ashamed of herself, the way she acted and her spiteful, sanctimonious words and actions towards others. Now she can finally disappear into the depths of political oblivion." In her victory speech, Hageman alluded to Cheney but did not mention her by name.
We